32 hours. What difference can one medical school make?
Cardiology is a great degree. You know, it's the number one cause of death among men and women globally now. More than infectious disease, more than childbirth, and we're exporting it.
Guided by a profound mission, part of Dartmouth's DNA, to embrace the world's troubles as our own.
I have to go to school at the best school that I can to become the best medical doctor I can be, so that I can go back and do the best work that I can eventually someday. So the goal is that one day, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, that, you know, I can be a part of the movement towards positivity, towards change in Nigeria. So.
Improve the lives of the communities we serve through inspired learning, discovery, and healing.
This is spring break at Geisel. We have 15 students that are here and you know, totally volunteering and really wanting to be here. Why? Because they can make a difference and improve people's lives.
Build a diverse community that reflects our world and create leaders who will tackle our most vexing challenges in healthcare. Relentlessly pursue new ideas and innovations.
We are involved with producing human therapeutics to block VISTA. Blocking VISTA will unleash the immune response and allow it to make immune responses to cancer and eradicate it.
And bring empathy, respect, and compassion to all.
To me, becoming a doctor is kind of the ultimate service to your community.
Improve the lives of the communities we serve.
And again, I see it again, that word empowerment comes again, because they're not saying, well, this is something that the doctor has to do and the hospital has to do, but we're going to empower the individuals in the community to go and to do these things. And I think that that's fantastic. It's not self-serving, it's community-serving. And it's something that you don't see a lot of.
From Haiti to the Hanover Plain, with our partners in rural, urban, and American Indian Health. In Tanzania, Rwanda, Peru, and throughout the world.
So I think as a medical school, it's just a wonderful place to train, because that culture of empathy and caring for the entire person is passed on to every student who walks through these doors and takes care of our patients.
Never stop learning. Never stop discovering. Never stop healing.
Dartmouth helped me become the person I am. It gave me a great education. It gave me inspiration, it gave me motivation. It is a culture where people encourage each other to take risks, to go out and achieve, to make something of your lives and to give back.
Dartmouth.
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. Every time I
Well, I actually saw that clip for the first time this afternoon, but it's been about 3 years now since I had the pleasure of joining all of you, and watching these stories, I continue to be blown away by the amazing people. I mean, it all begins with people, and we have a great family here, and the kinds of work that all of you are doing is just amazing. It's a real joy for me to be part of that. 2 years ago, we did not have a dedicated communications team in the medical school. Today, we have what I consider to be the best team in the country. They did this work, so just want to acknowledge Gary Snyder, Derek Hurdle, Susan Green, and Hannah Welch. They do the work of 12 people. And the 4-minute clip that you saw a few minutes ago is part of a program called 32 Hours, which will be officially launched next week. So look for it on the web. I think you'll find it to be absolutely spectacular. So I welcome you, medical students, graduate students, residents, fellows, faculty, staff, alumni, and other partners to the 2013 State of the Medical School Address. Again, thank you for being here and taking this time late in the day to join all of us. You know, I think these are exciting times for Dartmouth, and in particular for the medical school. It is a time for us to reaffirm our commitment to our values and to our mission while we move forward in a bold manner to create a future that is all about improving the lives of the people we serve, whether it be students or residents or patients or one another. That's why we come to work. In 10 days, we will welcome Dartmouth President-elect Phil Hanlon back home to the Hanover Plain. We look forward to contributing much to his and Dartmouth's success in the years ahead. I would like to thank Carol Folt for her leadership at Dartmouth and for her support of the Geisel School of Medicine. May she experience much joy and great success as the new chancellor at UNC Chapel Hill. Let me just take a few minutes to share in the progress we're making on the 2020 Strategic Plan for Excellence, as well as the challenges that face us. I will share some updates on the LCME, the curricular redesign process, our critical space renovations and new construction, some of our achievements by our students and faculty, some new progress in health equity and diversity, and what our admission snapshot looks like for this coming fall. Of course, we'll save the best till last as we celebrate the 2013 class of Master Educators at the Geisel School of Medicine. The Dartmouth College Board of Trustees and our Board of Overseers in the medical school continue to recognize the importance of the 2020 plan, and they strongly support it. They know that a stronger medical school makes Dartmouth College even stronger. A strong School of Medicine will create more educational and leadership opportunities, not only for our students, but also for the undergraduate students, whose demand for research, global health, and interaction with our faculty and students is now at an all-time high. And if we're truly to embrace the world's troubles as our own, it is the medical school that will play a role in making that happen. I'd now like to share with you an update on our 2020 plan, the key strategic priorities and overarching goals, and our progress to date. As you recall, we have 3 overarching goals in the plan, which we are tracking on a regular basis. 1, we're committed to national leadership in medical education and pedagogical reform. I couldn't be happier with the group that Rich Simons has assembled to take this on. We're pushing the envelope and already making a difference. Number 2, we want our research, our discovery to be distinctive and impactful and advance science and its applications. And finally, we want to be a paradigm for tackling healthcare's most pressing and problematic issues. Fortunately, we have what I consider to be the best group in the country. Taking that on, it's a group that has been determined for more than 30 years, and I think their best days are ahead. We want to impact 4 areas. As we said, one is in the area of innovative education. Rich Simons, our recently on board Senior Associate Dean for Education, is leading that charge. Here you see Rich with Leslie Fall, who is leading our IT-directed learning effort. We want to make significant contributions in research, and we'll continue to focus on big data, as shown in the top right panel there with Chris Amos, Jason Moore, and Scott Williams. I'm delighted with the leadership that Elliot Fisher is providing in the Dartmouth Institute. He's taken on in a very short period of time some really tough issues and is handling those with just enormous class. And finally, our global health programs are really taking a strong footing in a number of countries, and would like to acknowledge the tremendous leadership that Lisa Adams is exercising as our new Associate Dean for Global Health and our Director of the Center of Health Equity. And of course, Ford von Rhein there with Lisa has really been the sort of the elder statesman of this effort for many, many years. Underlying those key goals are 5 priorities. One is curricular reform, as we've discussed. We want to grow the research programs strategically so that we have critical mass in areas where we can distinguish ourselves. We're working to align the partnerships in research and education with our hospital partner, Dartmouth Hitchcock. We're working on increasing our reputation and our endowment, which is critical to our future. And we, at the same time, want to pay increasingly greater attention to our operational accountability and our fiscal performance. Let me tell you a little bit about the tangible progress that we've seen in the past couple of years. Since October of 2010, we've recruited 30 new faculty whose major focus is on research. I would like to acknowledge the spectacular contributions of Dwayne Compton and the Biomedical Research Council. These 30 people have brought with them $29.5 million per year, and that's about $1 million per person in funding. That's outstanding. We're up to 23 mega grants from, I believe, 15 or 16 3 years ago. Total awards at $234 million. I think that speaks to the growth of faculty critical mass in key areas and the increasing success that these teams are having in competing for big awards. The medical school accounts for almost 3/4 of Dartmouth's total research activity. Due to the sequester, total research funding at Dartmouth is down about 15 or 20 million this year, but the medical school has remained flat, which is quite an amazing achievement given the funding climate. Community and family medicine is number 2 nationally in NIH funding, and the Department of Microbiology and Immunology is number 9. And in microbiology and immunology, we're blessed to have Ron Taylor and Bruce Stanton, who are 2 of the top 10 funded investigators nationally in that discipline. So that's quite an achievement. As you know, we had our LCME site visit a couple of months ago. The site visitor team identified a couple of areas of strength. The one I would point out there is our financial aid program led by Dino Koff. Our student debt burden is lower than the national average for public schools, which is quite an achievement. This is an area that we want to focus on in the campaign with a stretch goal of getting to a point at some point in the future where everybody can go to medical school for free. Now that's a big challenge, but it's something that would be just a tremendous for our young people. There's a couple areas we need to improve, and we're working on these. One is to have a more robust plan with regards to goals for improving student and faculty diversity. I think our student diversity is getting better. Growing the diversity amongst our faculty is something that I would like all of you to pay more attention to. We need to create more interdisciplinary health professional learning experiences, so we want to strengthen our partnership with Colby Sawyer and some of the other regional programs so we can have more interdisciplinary learning for our students. Again, curricular redesign led by Rich Simon, Tim Leahy, and 6 or 8 key faculty are just doing a fabulous job. The reason for the curricular redesign, and it's a question I get asked from time to time because, as you know, our students perform so well on the boards, and I'll show you some data in a moment that shows how well they do with the match. One might ask, why would you want to fix something that's broken, that's not broken? And the reason is that the discipline is changing rapidly. There is a need for a different kind of education. We need to move from passive learning to active learning. That means less time in the formal classroom, more time in small groups. And the regulatory bodies like the LCME are pushing this across the country. So we've got a team of more than 100 faculty and students who are working on curricular redesign. If they haven't been to visit your department, please let Rich know. The group is very eager to let them know, let you know what they're up to. We have some new learning space in 37 Dewey for the medical students. This is as a consequence of vacating Dana in anticipation of new construction in that space. If you haven't been over to 37 Dewey, go check it out. It's really quite a nice environment. And then if you walk through Remsen on the main floor, I guess that'd be the 3rd floor, you'll see some renovations going on there. This is space being renovated for more small group learning and discussion. And I think you'll find that while that's still in progress, it's going to be just phenomenal for our educational future. If you've been over to DH in the past couple of weeks, you've noticed that the ground has been cleared for the WTRB. I think that we'll be digging a hole in the not too distant future. This is a critically important building for us for a number of reasons, not the least of which is I think if Dartmouth is going to have a top academic medical center, we have to have more research space. You may know that every top 20 academic medical center has been awarded a CTSA grant. We're one of those that has not been awarded that, at least not at this time. And so I think that's one of the key reasons for doing this. There's no question that new space is critical to recruiting and training top faculty. And there's no question that this building will be critical to attracting top graduate students and providing unique opportunities for our young people, and especially the undergrads who increasingly are becoming interested in spending time with our faculty in the summers. In fact, Leslie Henderson was kind enough to pull some data that shows that we've got a little over 100 undergrads who spend time with all of you doing research, and And that's a major reason why 16% of the seniors at Dartmouth apply to medical school. We've had some students hit it out of the park. On the top left there is Matt Alexander with Mark Israel. Matt is a PhD student in molecular and cellular biology and received one of 10 nationally competitive awards from the Joanna Nicolay Melanoma Foundation. So this is great for Matt and great for the Cancer Center and great for the medical school, of course. Bottom left, you see Kristen Jogerst and Jessica Freed, who are two of our students who have national leadership positions in some very prominent medical organizations. And then finally on the right, Anna He, who received the Physicians for Human Rights award as an emerging leader. Our students continue to do extremely well on step 1 and step 2. You can see that while the pass rate nationally is high, the pass rate amongst our students is I guess, perfect. And a score of 235 on step 1 is really quite remarkable, statistically higher than other institutions. And if you take a look at what we consider to be the top 20 residencies in the country, your list might be a little bit different, but that's a pretty aspirational group. What we've seen is that over the past 5 years, 38% of our students went to those programs, and this past year it was up to 42%. Of course, this doesn't include the students who choose to go to other programs, so I'm very pleased that with a few exceptions, our students are matching at truly outstanding places to do their residency, and that's a tribute to what all of you are doing to prepare them to do so. We're defining our stakes in the ground, so to speak, for our global health sites. We've got a very strong program in Haiti. We've got a very strong program in Peru, Kosovo, Rwanda, Tanzania. And these are places where our students are actively involved in projects making a difference. In addition, we've got an outstanding program with the Indian Health Service, which is one that is relatively new. This is the one that the students currently go to during their spring break in March. I want to acknowledge Sean O'Leary, who is the champion for this program. Sean is a Native American, member of the Ojibwe tribe, and has almost single-handedly made this program possible. And I don't know what you did during your spring break. Most people go to Florida, but 15 of our students chose to go to northern Minnesota on their spring break to make a difference to the Native Americans. And finally, our new Center for Health Equity has launched. Just don't pay attention to the top left. Look at the one on the right. That's our outstanding teacher in pathology. Okay, so our class of, I guess it would be 2017, is shaping up quite nicely. As you can see here, we had almost 5,000 applications, about 4,300 applicants who completed their application. The admissions committee invited 918 of them to interview and offered 246 letters of acceptance. We anticipate a class of 84. So that means we get about a third of the students from this list, and that's about as good as it gets nationally. Because obviously the students that we offer a spot to many of them are also offered a position at Hopkins or Harvard or WashU or UCSF. So we're very excited about the new class, and we should have the final numbers in the next several weeks. So I do want to acknowledge the hard work of the admissions committee. This is a huge amount of time spent reviewing applications and looking at these remarkable achievements. I think it's probably one of the most difficult jobs because, quite frankly, there's when you get to this top 2%, the next 1% or even 5% are arguably equally as good. So we do the best we can to get a class that is as diverse as possible with as many backgrounds as possible, and we're going to continue to make that a priority. At this point, I'd like to introduce Rich Simons, our Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education. Rich has been here a year now, and is doing a great job. He sees patients once a week, and has students with him when he sees patients. Is really an excellent physician, also an excellent teacher. The two tend to go hand in hand, and Rich is going to make some remarks about our newly elected members of the Academy of Master Educators. Thank you.
Thanks, Chip. Thank you, Dr. Souba. Last year at this time, the Geisel School of Medicine inducted the first members of the Academy of Master Educators. And members of this distinguished group were nominated by their fellow faculty members, and they were selected because of the demonstrated commitment they had to the educational mission. These faculty members, some of whom I've gotten to know very well, are true leaders in medical education here and nationally. And I want to let you know that they've met on a regular basis. They've already given some workshops or planning new workshops under the leadership of Dr. Leslie Faw in the Office of Faculty Development. And they're also planning some formal mentorship programs for our junior faculty. They will continue to educate our students and residents and graduate students, and Dr. Souba and I will also count on them to advise us regarding our educational programs. And I'd like to just acknowledge those first class of Master of Educators who are here tonight. If you would please stand and just be recognized once again. Some of you are in the audience. Last year, during this event, I think it was my second or third day here, Dr. Souba remarked, and I quote, "In the 215-year history of the Dartmouth Medical School, one thing that has remained constant is the presence of outstanding educators," end of quotation. And now that I've been here for a year, I've really come to appreciate that. We have really a wonderful talent pool of faculty members. And I'm convinced that we really can be a leader in medical education given the superb faculty that we have here, as well as our commitment to curricular reform, so we can really prepare the next generation of physicians to practice effectively in a new healthcare environment. So this year we're celebrating the induction of 9 new members of the Geisel Academy of Master Educators. These members were selected by a committee that was composed of 3 members of the Academy of Master Educators, a representative from the graduate medical education community, a member of the graduate education committee, a member of the faculty council, and the Office of Medical Education. It was a very competitive process, and what I'm going to do now is introduce the first student who will introduce the first inductee. All of the new Master Educator faculty members will be introduced by students, and these faculty members were very influential in each of these trainees' careers. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Chris Warsham, who's a fourth-year student who'll be graduating soon. I believe he's completed all of his requirements, so we can't hold you back. And he's going to introduce our first Master Academy, and then we'll proceed in order. Thanks, Chris.
Good evening. It's my honor this evening to introduce this distinguished professor of surgery and critical care here at the Geisel School of Medicine. Since his arrival at DHMC in 1989, and before that at Rhode Island Hospital, he has been dedicated to the education and development of young physicians. His impressive history in medical education is colored by numerous teaching awards from both students, residents. He's had visiting professorships and appointments to national level positions related to surgical education. While his clinical interests lie in acute care surgery and shock, about which he has a new book out, his educational interests focus on the development of students into effective communicators, a subject about which he publishes and gives talks across the country. Amongst Geisel third and fourth years, he is perhaps best known for his can't-miss student-centered ICU rounds. I was fortunate enough to spend several weeks working with him in my third and fourth years during my surgery clerkship and intensive care rotation. Although I am going into internal medicine, I will undoubtedly carry this man's teachings with me throughout my career, and I know many of my classmates in all specialties would say the same. From him, my colleagues and I have gained skills, knowledge, and confidence in the assessment and management of truly sick patients, competencies every doctor in every field has to have. A dedicated educator, he works one-on-one with his students on communication skills, helping us to give sharper patient presentations, write more succinct notes, and articulate our reasoning and decision-making. If there is anything that rivals his passion for teaching, it is his passion for puns. While I still have much to learn from him about crafting the perfect pun, I will say that they have provided comic relief during particularly charged discussions of ionized calcium on rounds. More seriously and more personally, however, he has truly been one of the best teachers I have ever had. He has instilled in me an interest in critical care medicine, and I am very excited and well prepared for my upcoming ICU rotations as a resident because of him. So on behalf of myself and the scores of students who have benefited from his commitment to teaching, I say thank you and congratulations on this well-deserved honor as they introduce Dr. Kenneth Burchard.
Good evening. My name is Rex Atwood. I'm a third-year medical student here at Geisel, and I'm here to talk about my on-doctoring preceptor. I just found out that I'm supposed to reveal their name at the end, so this is going to be an exercise in me using pronouns for the entire bit of my speech, which should be fun. The three greatest things that I appreciate about this person's teaching style is, first and foremost, that she treats me like a colleague, and that can be difficult when you don't know which side of the stethoscope is which or where to place it. But she always seemed to know where I was in my progression from first year to second year to hopefully passing boards and becoming the third year. The second thing that I'd like to point out about her and her fantastic teaching style is that she gives excellent feedback. This is a new term for me. I never received feedback in my time at the Naval Academy. I received criticism. Horrible, awful, bicep-bursting criticism. And while hers is certainly much nicer, it is occasionally just as, not hard, but firm and to the point. You certainly don't want to make the same mistake twice. The last thing that I would like to say about her is that she's a fantastic emotional educator. Both from my perspective of being sometimes afraid of my patient's emotions and not knowing exactly how to deal with that, and then also not knowing how to relate my own emotions about whatever went on in that day or what's going on at home, and how to really compartmentalize that and use it to my best advantage as a physician. So the person that I'm talking about is none other than Dr. Nancy Cochran.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kirsten Orloff, and I'm at the end of my third year now. The nominee I have the privilege of presenting is very proud of his New York City roots. Born and raised in the Bronx, he'd love to tell you about the 3 years he spent as a tour guide at the Bronx Zoo. He then attended Fordham University, then Harvard Medical School, and Mass General for a residency in internal medicine, followed by an endocrine fellowship at the NIH with a focus on diabetes. He's now a member of the endocrine faculty at DHMC, program director of the endocrine fellowship, a professor of medicine at Geisel, serving as a PBL leader and leading the SBM program for second years, and teaches in the endocrine and metabolism course. I had the fortunate experience of being assigned to his PBL group my first year. We were quite a motley crew, but were brought seamlessly together by the quiet, reassuring leadership of this nominee. He turned simple first-year clinical cases into platforms for broad discussions of pathophysiology and philosophical discussions about ethics, humanity, and what it means to practice medicine in the real world. He took the time to get to know each and every one of us and understood how to reach out to both the rowdy and more soft-spoken members of our group. He eventually trusted us enough to invite us to lunch at his house, which, though seemingly a small gesture, was a way to show us frenzy first years that he was a real person with a dog and a family he cherishes, not just a walking pocket medicine book with a friendly smile. He left us all that year with his usual offer to spend some time in the endocrine clinic anytime we wanted, acknowledging that many students, or most students, never really take him up on it. But I did, perhaps to his surprise. Having loved the course, I signed up for 3 weeks in the clinic, which afforded me the opportunity to see a magician at work and to learn a few tricks myself. Patients couldn't say enough about him. The fellows raved about his teaching and dedication to students, and I loved the inside scoop about local cross-country ski trails and hearing about his latest adventures carrying his 65-pound injured dog down Mount Washington. But most importantly, during my time there last fall, I found myself amazed by his passion for his work and his limitless humility. There are wonderful leaders and educators everywhere, but this nominee stands out in his ability to lead by example rather than rhetoric, and to inspire confidence while laughing at himself. His jolly nature is sustaining and contagious, and his dedication to teaching will ensure that more happy, healthy, and humble physicians will follow in his footsteps. I feel very privileged to have the opportunity to announce Dr. Richard Comey as one of this year's nominees. I'm not getting the award, unfortunately. He's on vacation this week, but I can't imagine a person who deserves it more, so thank you.
Hi, my name's Alinda Hartshorn. I'm one of the neurology fellows, and it's my pleasure to introduce an outstanding teacher and mentor. He did his undergraduate at Stanford University, followed by medical training at Chicago Medical School. He did neurology residency at Albert Einstein, and then not one but 2 fellowships, one in headache and one in pain medicine. He's been a devoted academic and teacher basically his entire career. He served as neurology clerkship director since 2001, and also the clerkship and the program director as well. For the same period of time. And I've known him for 4 years, and I'm always just continually impressed by his ability to carefully balance responsibilities between excellence in patient care and teaching, both superb teaching for medical students and residents. He really engages within any patient encounter, every level of student from medical students, 3rd years, 4th years, all the way through junior residents and chief residents. One little known fact about him is that he is amazing at lumbar punctures. He's my go-to guy. And another little known fact is his popularity at the Headache Cooperative of New England's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me moderator. So on behalf of the residents and students who have been touched by you, I'd like to say thank you so much and congratulations to Dr. Mo Levin.
Hi, my name is Jessica Freed, and I am a third year, completing my third year. It's my pleasure to introduce this next educator. Here at Geisel, students and residents know her as a passionate and dedicated educator, mentor, and advisor. Nationally, she is regarded as an expert in radiology education, and her colleagues here at Dartmouth have told me that they've been approached more than one time at meetings and been told that they were envied to get to work with her every day. Her list of accomplishments and accolades is extensive, and as I'm told I must be brief, I can only paint a brief sketch for you of a masterpiece career that she has already had. Among some of her most notable accomplishments at Geisel, she has been instrumental in developing an integrated radiology curriculum that students enjoy in the first 2 years of medical school. She has also transformed the medical student radiology elective into an inspiring and illuminating experience, no pun intended, making it the most popular elective available. Nationally, she has made major contributions to medical education through the development of the core cases, now used at over 35 institutions through the MedU program, and also through her work with the Association of University Radiologists in AMSR, where she has impacted medical education for students across the country through development of a national medical student curriculum and standardized exam database. To me personally, she has opened a world I never could have imagined myself in and provided me with mentorship that I'm extremely grateful for. We should all be excited to see what she does next. We are truly lucky to have Dr. Petra Lewis, Professor and Vice Chair of Education of the Department of Radiology.
Hi there, I'm Rachel Brickman. I am a first-year medical student. I, like many of those who have come before me, found the transition into medical school a bit challenging, to say the least. However, unlike my colleagues at other institutions, I have been fortunate enough to make this transition into Geisel, a school where student-faculty collaboration is held in the highest regard. The professor I have the pleasure of introducing tonight is truly a rock star amongst the faculty in exemplifying this collaborative nature at Geisel. As the leader of my Biochemistry 110 small group, he brought an enthusiasm and genuine passion for teaching that somehow managed to make, forgive me, dry topics a bit more engaging. In fact, we actually had a whole lot of fun. Furthermore, and perhaps most importantly, the roles of teacher and learner were always dynamic in our group, so this man with double degrees from Harvard seemed to have learned just as much from us mere lowly first years as we learned from him. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Dean Madden.
Good evening. My name is Arvind Vishwanathan, and I'm a first-year medical student here at Geisel. It is with great pleasure and honor that I get to introduce my mentor, whom I'm not going to reveal the name right now, but can be seen at the gym every day. I've known him for about 3 years now as a mentor, both at the undergraduate level and now at the medical school. His passion for teaching and helping students succeed is very inspirational and admirable. Furthermore, his enthusiasm during the lectures have never failed to wake up students who are forced to come to Kellogg at 8 a.m. I'm greatly indebted to him for helping me develop a greater appreciation for the sciences. His passion for teaching will always be an inspiration for the students who are bound to be the teachers of the future. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Robert Maui for his commitment and teaching excellence here at Geisel School of Medicine at Dartmouth.
My name is Emma Wright. I'm a fourth-year medical student, and I'm very honored to be introducing the next educator, who is the Vice Chair, Section Chief, and Pre-Doctoral Director of the Department of Family Medicine and an Associate Professor of Community and Family Medicine at Geisel. I was hoping to have my friend Holly up here because there's about a 50-50 chance that I'll start crying, but you'll have to bear with me. I've had the privilege to learn from this educator as she embraced roles including on-doctoring preceptor, faculty advisor for the Family Medicine Interest Group and Rural Health Scholars, director of the Family Medicine Clerkship, residency advisor for family medicine, and invaluable professional and personal mentor and a friend. This is by, sorry, I told you. This is by no means an exhaustive list of this person's myriad roles at Geisel, but a list doesn't really get to the heart of what makes her a master educator anyway. Not to mention that we're supposed to stick to 2 minutes. It's the depth to which this person engages with her students as she goes about fulfilling each of these roles that distinguishes her. Not only does she wear many hats, she really rocks them all. As facilitator of our Rural Health Scholars Reflection Group during third year, she naturally wove in provocative and important questions into the discussion about the challenges and joys of clinical medicine and helped us to elicit meaning from what was often an overwhelming jumble of emotions. For me, as for other students, what sets this faculty member apart is the beautiful way in which she helps us to explore what it truly means to be a physician. How to embrace and nourish our lives outside of medicine, to pay attention to our emotions and values, to appreciate every day how privileged we are to be entering a field in which there is so much potential to do good. And she's not surprised by this at all. And to remember our responsibility to help shape not only our own experiences in medicine, but also the culture of medicine as a whole. While this faculty member is a phenomenal example and mentor to those of us who are interested in going into family medicine, what is more remarkable is her gift for helping students to identify which course is truly right for them. I remember distinctly how nervous my friend Holly was to tell her that she was applying for residency in pediatrics and not family medicine, but instead of disappointment, Holly was greeted with genuinely enthusiastic support for her choice. And to me, this is a perfect example of how this person honors the importance of each of us choosing our own path in medicine, and how she genuinely enjoys sharing this process of self-discovery with us. So, Dr. Kathy Morrow, on behalf, oh, sorry. I wasn't quite finished. So I wanted to say, on behalf of all the students for whom you have made the difference, thank you for your guidance, your friendship, and congratulations.
All right, last but not least, my name's Clint Orlowski. I'm a fourth year. I'm graduating here soon. It means I've met with Dino already, and we figured out how much of my intern salary I can donate back to Geisel. So, and I can still eat ramen noodles. I'm going to try to keep this to about 3 minutes. I'm honored to stand here right now and personally recognize a truly wonderful mentor and role model. This man has been an example of medical education at Geisel for 30 years. He's embraced his role as a physician educator, recognizing that, and these are his own words, teachers have that rare opportunity to focus without inhibiting, to inspire without overwhelming, and to stimulate without fatiguing. He has become involved in every facet of the medical school education at Dartmouth, from the medical school to the residency, and even beyond to the state and national level. Here at Geisel, he has helped shape the formation of the on-doctoring course through published work addressing the importance of teaching the patient interview and the physical exam. He continues to teach medical students in on-doctoring, as well as the PBL course and award skills through various clerkships. At the hospital, he is a leader in residency training and continuing medical education. He initiated the popular bedside teaching rounds with residents and students in 2006. To this day, he continues to participate in daily morning reports as well as weekly autopsy rounds. Perhaps his greatest contribution to the education of the Dartmouth medical community is his 26 years of leading the M&M conferences. His teaching style has led to an effective model which provides a collegial, safe learning environment for all. The M&M conferences at Dartmouth have been praised locally and demonstrated regionally at ACP meetings. Among his numerous awards and recognitions, he is an AOA Distinguished Professor, and nationally he has served as the Chair of Board of Governors of the ACP. Currently, he is the Almy Professor of Medicine and the Vice Chair for Education for the Department of Medicine at Dartmouth. By this time, I'm sure you all know I'm talking about Dr. Jonathan Ross. Personally, I had the privilege and honor to learn from Dr. Ross in my own on-doctoring course, where he lived up to his reputation as an outstanding physician educator. One of my classmates, Matt Croson, recalls that Dr. Ross made the physical exam come alive, and we were undoubtedly prepared for that crucial transition from the lecture hall to the hospital. Another classmate, Miriam Tarosian, is grateful that Dr. Ross maintained the integrity and sacred nature of the one-on-one patient-doctor encounter, and that his love for medicine is truly contagious. Not only has he touched our hearts, but he has also opened our minds and remains grounded at all times. We all appreciate his humor through rapping the latest Jay-Z lyrics, his baking skills. He makes a very, very good lemon bundt cake. And his wisdom. One quote that we never forget is, "Don't always say the diagnosis is lupus or sarcoid. You will diminish your street cred." Jonathan Ross epitomizes the role of the doctor twofold. One, he passionately cares for people in their time of need through practice and the art of medicine. And two, he has dedicated his life to sharing this passion with students, residents, and colleagues. He's a teacher, a scholar, and a mentor, and I could not be happier to stand here right now. Unfortunately, he's away on vacation as well, but please thank you everybody for nominating him, and let's give him a round of applause.
So thank you for all the student and fellow introductions. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2013 class of Master Academy Educators.
This is what makes it worth it. And I want to thank all of you for the stand that you take for your patients, for your students, and it's palpable and it makes a difference. I say that in part because you deserve it, but this is the kind of thing that I go to when things get tough. And I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what the sequester means. I'm not sure anybody does. But what I would like to ask of each of you is that you keep in mind that our success is not a function of our circumstances. It's a function of our choice. And these people have made a decision to teach because it's part of who they are. And it's completely woven into the fabric of who we are. And we're not going to change that because it embodies the very best of what it means to improve the lives of the people we serve. So I thank you for making my almost 3 years such a joy. I think I have never worked with a better group of people, and I'm looking forward to the years upcoming. Have a great night.